Flute Lessons. See if anyone shows up. Otherwise I'll just keep teaching myself, because that's kind of what it is. Gail, ready for flute lessons? Get your flutes out. Get your flutes out. Anyway, I thought that this would be kind of fun. So, because it's a super easy instrument to play. Really easy instrument to play. We're going to show you how to play a flute. Well, one way to play the flute. I'm going to explain it my way is actually what's going to happen. So, but seriously, it's a super easy instrument to play. And it's even going to look easy. So, first, I'm just going to take everybody like kind of upside down like this and show you a few different flutes there. The bigger ones are the bass flutes, and so those are the ones with the lower tones, and then the smaller ones are the higher pitched flutes, and those ones are the higher tones. And surprisingly enough, the smaller flutes, the higher pitched smaller flutes, take more air pressure than the low ones. And air pressure is, regulating air pressure is one of the keys to playing the flute. After understanding the fingering, which is the fingering's the simple part, and then regulating the air pressure, because most people just blow too hard on the flutes. So, let's see here. We'll go over some basic stuff here. So this is like a mid-range flute. This one is from Cousin Bruce, and it's one of my favorites because it plays just excellent. So guess what? Here's the holes to the flute, right? Obvious. And I think this is like a 3/4 inch bore. So they go anywhere from, these little ones. That's like 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch. And then the big ones, this is like 1.5 inches or something like that. So big bass flute there, big raven flute. If you get a flute, I would actually recommend kind of a smaller one, like one of these, and it's got a like a 5/8 bore. Probably would be a good one. Oh, Max is going to make fun of me. He's like, oh, that guy doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. Don't listen to him. Well, or even one of the smaller 1/2 inch ones. If you're starting out, because frankly they're easier to play. The bigger flutes, the ones that have that nice low bass, are harder to play. So there's that. And this one probably shows up a little bit better on the screen. And so, okay, here's your flute, right? Obviously, that's the whole thing. And then this is what they call the block or the bird, and it moves. It's detachable. I'll do it this time, but it comes completely off. And if you can see in the video, this one has a little cutout section here, and that's called the flue. And that cutout section is either on the flute or on the block or on the bird. Some of them have that cutout section up top on the movable part, and some it's just on the flute. So the first thing is setting up your flute so that it plays, because this is kind of your tuning. This is kind of the tuning on the flute here, and everyone's words in the way, I can't see. Basically, you want to move this block here, and then you see the hole there. That's actually where the sound comes out. And so you want to move your block. Let's see here. So it's just right about a 1/16 of an inch back from that block. Just trying to get an angle. Let's see here. Maybe something like that. Can you see? It's just right up against right up against the block is where most of them are, and that'll vary with different manufacturers and different woods and different flutes and that sort of thing. Yeah, listen to Mac too. Mac's gonna have some good input here. Mac's an awesome dude, an awesome flute player. So yeah, so once you have the block adjusted right, then you're ready to play. So the first thing is that your flutes, your Native American flutes, are in a pentatonic scale. So that's 5. So why do they have 6 holes? I don't know. Mac, why do they have 6 holes? I don't know. But I do actually use the 6 hole. Some flutes don't have 6 holes. Some flute manufacturers just make 5-hole flutes. And this is a blueberry. This is from Charlie Montotoyala, and he makes really good flutes, but he does not make 6-hole flutes. Some flute manufacturers make both 5 and 6-hole flutes. I like the 6-hole flute just because it gives a little bit more of a variety. If I had 7 fingers, I'd probably want a 7-hole flute. So, but what I'm going to talk about is how simple it is. So, and I'm going to tell you, you don't need to like be Eddie Van Halen or anything on the flute just right off the bat. You don't need to be all wah all over the place. You can make some really nice sounds, just super simple. And I think that that's one thing that a lot of people get stuck on, is they want to go all crazy on the flute, which is understandable. I like to go crazy too. Everyone likes to go crazy, but you can do real simple things. So, getting back to the story is, for starters, just keep your finger on that hole, just that 3rd hole down. Keep your ring finger on that, and don't let it off. And to illustrate that, when you're starting, you can even take a piece of leather and put it on there. And I'll even do it just to prove that I'm not lying, that you can't actually play a flute like this. So I just get a leather or a Band-Aid. Leather's kind of cool. And there's people that just play the flute like that. Okay. So I'm just illustrating the point. You want to just keep this finger down. Now I'm going to take it off since I saw it. See, just simple. But if you're starting out, if you're a beginner, you can do that. And so it's kind of cheating. And then when you take it off, you're going to have to get used to putting your finger there. But that's how you get that pentatonic sound from the flute. Keep that finger down. Okay. Now this is the good part. It's kind of like a zipper. You go up and back down again. Okay? Up and back down again. And you have to go in that sequence. And I'm saying this for a beginner, so like you don't have to, but just for beginners, just trust me, do it like this. This is the easy way. Right, Isaac? Isaac will tell you. This is the easy way to do it. So that's the technique. The other thing, you have to make sure all of your holes are covered 100%. No air escaping at all. And then you have to do your breath control, of course. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. But so your block's adjusted right. This finger stays down, and then up and back down. So basically what I'm saying is you can't do this. See, because these fingers are up. You can't do that. It won't work. And you can't do that. It won't work. You got to go from the top. And so this is your higher pitched up here. If you have it all open, that's going to be the highest pitch. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that's going to be your lowest pitch. Okay. Who's that guy that does that in South Park? Okay. So, and then another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of times you'll need to put more air pressure through your higher notes than your lower notes. So you might have to put a lot of wind through up here You know, if I'm like that, or like that, or like that, I might have to put a lot of wind through it to get that right sound. But then down here, I'll have to relax off the wind or it'll overblow. And so you can do intentional overblow as part of the music, but for starters, you don't want to overblow, and that's part of the control. And I'll do an intentional overblow, so you can see that sometime if I remember. I don't have notes. Anyway, just the scales like that. So. Okay, so then obviously you can do open and then go back down. So you can go like that, and you can go like this, and you can go like this, and you can go like that. But I'm always working just like a zipper from, you know, top to bottom and then back up again. So that's the only thing you need to know. And then with breath control, you can do a lot just like that. So you hear that vibrato at the end? That's me. That's just my breath control coming from, you know, from your diaphragm. See, so that's just all the person and the breath control. So then you implement a little bit of finger work there. Here's a song just using, I got a little bit carried away. I'm like, oh, I'm playing the flute. Right on. I forgot you guys were watching. Start jamming out. Anyway, back on track here. So here's like real simple. I can do a tune. Well, you saw doing a tune with like no finger work and just breath control. And now here's one with just lifting this finger. So anyway, okay, and I said I do an intentional overblow too. But yeah, so just, and then when I tell people when they're just starting, I say just start with these lower ones and just do those and just keep all these here and just use these three and see what you can do with just those three fingers in your breath control. I shouldn't do the flutters, but I mean they're pretty easy. I just get used to it. See, so that was just three fingers, and I didn't do any breath control or anything fancy like that. So if I use those 3 fingers and do some breath control, do some human intervention. See, so I mean, you can make it sound halfway decent just with those 3 fingers. So that's why I like the flute. I mean, you can know like nothing about it and just stick with those simple steps. It's just like that. That's all you need to know. Once your block is adjusted, that's all you need to know. Oh, little bit of breath control. So here's an intentional blow. So if I blow too hard, it's going to go like this. And on, like, for me, if a flute's made really good, you can use that in a song and you can back out of it really well. But some flutes you can't back out of the overblow. So I'm going to try not to get too technical. But the bigger flutes, I'll get a bigger one now. So this is a bass flute, and this one's, some of the bass flutes are pretty sensitive, and sensitive to overblow. So if you, and the thing is, it's blowing too hard, which, you know, it all depends on what you want. Like the flute's great for it's great for like lung exercises. I knew a guy that he wrecked a plane. And of course, he was wanting me to go in the plane too, and I was like, "No, I'm not going in the plane with you." And he freaking wrecked it. And so he's been in the hospital. So one of the things he has to do is he has to do like lung exercises. Like people don't get used to breathing heavy enough, so their lungs get shallow, I guess, and you know they're susceptible to like pneumonia and stuff like that. So anyway, so it's a good lung exercise also. But for people that don't have a lot of breath, like I do, obviously, yeah. So Albie, hey, so Albie's going to chime in. He's going to be another one. Oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. What the hell are you doing? And feel free to chime in, Albie, if you have any input here. Yeah, so anyway, getting back to what I was trying to say is that some of these would be maybe good choices for somebody who doesn't have a lot of lung capacity. Because they're made to just for a little tiny bit of air. It's like most people have problems because they're trying to put too much air through the flute, and like the bigger bass flutes require less air. This one is sensitive, so I'm going to do like an intentional overblow. I'll play it a little bit, and I'll intentionally mess up, or maybe unintentionally mess up, and just say it was on purpose. Did you hear that at the very end? That's what happens when you put too much air in it. Or that's what happens if you don't have all your fingers covered. If you don't have your fingers covering the hole all the way, that it'll squeak like that. So if it gets squeaky, it's either because, I mean, always, again, check your block, see where that is. That one you can really see. It's just like right up against there. It's like, there you go. You can see it's like 1/16 of an inch. That block's like 1/16 of an inch from the opening there. And that's generally a good place to start. But yeah, so if you hear the squeaking, that means you're blowing too hard, or you don't have all your fingers, or you don't have all your holes covered with your fingers. And it's like you think you do, but honestly, like if you hear it squeaking and you don't think you're blowing too hard, like you need to like physically look, because it's a trip when you first start out. And you'll be like, yeah, they are. No, they're not. I can see it from here, and your fingers aren't covering holes all the way. So this one's really sensitive, and again, so I can put pretty much air pressure through this top one, or open, but when I get down here, I'm having to let off my air pressure. So I've got different air pressure going in when I'm playing open, or these top notes, versus down here. And that's why I said, if you're starting off, get a smaller flute. The smaller flutes are easier to play. And so I'm going to make it squeak again, but you'll start to recognize the sound if you start playing. See, that's just because I'm not putting enough. No, it's because I'm putting too much air through. Excuse me. Okay, so let's see here. So yeah, so and then there's. I'll just show a couple more flutes just for the heck of it. So this is my big my Raven flute here, and this one's sensitive too. Again, the bass flutes are real sensitive, but. Whoops, I messed up. I used that finger. See, but that was the first time that I used that ring finger. Though all the rest of the time, I had that closed through the whole CD here. So that's the bass, and then the backpacking flutes. These are cool. Oh, Albie, hey, does this look familiar? I got another one, bro. These little flutes, and then birds like the little flutes. And then these are the higher ones, and you really got to put some air through them sometimes, some of them. So if you want to go like, yeah, Eddie Van Halen, or, Randy Rhoads, don't forget him. Then these smaller ones are the ones that you can really like rock out on. Crazy Train, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if sometimes that comes out in my flute playing. I'm like, yeah. That's why I started off saying, yeah, you don't have to be Eddie Van Halen, but if you can't help it, then this is the small ones, is the ones. I was kind of like Crazy Train a little bit, wasn't it? You're right, Paco. Yeah. So no, I'm not even gonna say that. That's kind of bad. I've thought about hooking up a distortion pedal to this thing, but you know what? I don't use any effects. I don't even like them on my flutes. I just like to hear the raw wood. It's kind of funny because, like, for the flute, here's the spiritual side of it, right? Because the flute, the trees give us air, right? And then we're speaking through the flute too. So kind of a cool connection for the tree, like, in and out, I guess. That's what I think. How do you clean the flute? I I don't. I never clean them. No, I mean, like, take the block off. I'll show you. Let's see here. I don't want to take the blocks off. That's a hassle. I like never. Yeah, nature's effects. So this block, if you take that all the way off, you know, you could like just wipe that out, and then of course wipe the block. Can you see that like little bit of condensation there? That's from my breath. That's condensation. After a while, like if you get one, you play and you're tripping off it for a long time, and then it'll start to squeak. It'll start to sound funny, and your fingers are good and everything's good. It's because you're getting condensation in there, and you just need to let the flute sit or get like 20 more. That way you can just switch over like I do. I've seen people like, you know, try and clean them out, like when they're playing, and try and clean them out, but I think that it's best just to get more flutes. So let's see here. Yeah, that was it. I'm gonna do like a quick review just for the heck of it. This is the easy way to play the flute. Make sure that your block is aligned just about a 1/16 of an inch back from the sound hole there, and then you keep this finger down, third hole down from the top. Put your ring finger on it. Oh, and it doesn't matter if you play, you know, like this or like this, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Just always keep that finger down for now until later, and we're not even worried about that now. And then up and back down again. And you can go like that, and you can go like that, but you can't go like that. See, you can't go backwards. It's got to be up. And you can start and go down like that, or you can start down here. And you can go like that, and you can go like that, and you can go like that. But just like a zipper. Just think like a zipper. Yeah, I just cheated. I used that. I was trying not to do that for this. Oh, okay, and then one more little tip, and then we're going to call it. You know, you can adjust how long your fingers are off the holes, and also how fast you put your finger back on the hole. So, yep, like the zipper, and then that's it, and then you're playing the flute. So, okay, that's all I got to say about that flute video. Takiasi. Have fun, enjoy the flute. I love it. It's a good instrument. No frills, pretty basic. Good for everything. Okay, good night.